when I pulled on the gold jersey for the first time, and I'll take you through that opportunity. And in the middle 80s, when I first came into the team, we got to the top of the tree. We became the best rugby team in the world. And then we sort of fell off the tree. We got probably complacent. The inaugural World Cup was played in 1987, and you know, a number of things happened, but we lost the focus and we got complacent. We started the inaugural World Cup year as favourites to win that. Kiwis came first, Daylight came second, and I took over the captaincy of the team the year later. And to me, sport in particular was about individually and collectively. You know, when you get the opportunity to play for your nation, individually and collectively to squeeze the lemon and get all the drops out. It's what I call not dying wondering. As I said at the beginning, I want to share a couple of things that to me were really important. Some of the stuff that'll be obvious, but maybe one or two things that aren't as obvious. And I thought of maybe ways that not knowing your industry too well, that maybe, you know, some overlaps or some things about teamwork, innovation, creativity, as I said, process against scoreboard, spirit, which is so critical. You know, you guys got a great opportunity in these 2 days to bond, to share ideas, what works, what doesn't, to swap cards, to phone each other, and you know, great opportunity to combine. I mean, in my day, it was only Queensland and New South Wales that came together under the gold jersey. You know, when we'd come together, a bit like this morning as you introduce yourselves, you're all sitting together. It was very tribal. New South Wales would sit there, Queenslanders would sit there. But at the end of the rugby tour, we're one team. But I want to take you through some of the stuff about, you know, people often say, Nick, did the Wallabies have a vision? Because the vision was individually and collectively to be the best we can. You guys are obviously doing amazing things. The growth that Pete and Fiona have talked to me about over the last 4 years, where you are against your competitors, the market share you're probably grabbing. You can do what we did in 87. You can fall off the fence, you can lose focus, you can lose discipline, and all the great things that will continue to build this franchise. Or you can have the attitude that we did once we even got to the top of Everest. We'd become the best rugby team in the world. Let's actually next year go out and show the world how good we are. That winning wasn't a fluke for the team. You know, we had to change the team, and it was a great combination of young guys, that 91 team, and old bastards like myself with a bit of experience, and it worked really well. So the jigsaw was really important. Of course, the goal setting, the objectives, the strategy, the way you go about executing, it's all critical. But in the time that I've got, I thought that the one thing that I'd just quickly talk about, because it's an obvious, but it's worth saying, because you know, here I'm talking to you as the kid who wasn't good enough to play first 15 at my school, to someone who worked his arse off and went on to have 10 years with the team and captaining the guys for the half that period. And it is a common denominator, but the best people that I ever played with, the Eelsers, the Horans, the Poitevins, the Gavins, the Horans, the Campeses, the Liners, there was one common denominator. Yes, they were all gifted, there's no doubt. I mean, to play for your nation, you've got to have some natural talent. But the one common denominator was the prepared to give the blood, sweat and tears, to give the hard yards. And my experience in business, guys, is exactly like that. You know, when I went to Paris, as a guy who'd never done commerce or economics, you know, who couldn't speak the language, didn't understand the culture, was asked to open up Africa in metal derivatives and set up a physical gold desk, because we did a lot of work in Africa and South Africa in particular, which then was the biggest gold producer. I'd be lying if I said there weren't times at 2 or 3 in the morning, you know, at my first couple of months in Paris, thinking, what the hell have I done? I've taken my young family, girls of 2 and 4, my wife, out of our comfort zone, very comfortable in a mid-sized legal profession, to come and set up life here. And I had to think back to some of the stuff that I learned in rugby, and particularly the need to do the hard yards and the blood, sweat and tears, and go back to square one. Jones always or often spoke in analogies, and that morning he spoke about the need to do the hard work, and he spoke about a young Italian boy, 17 years of age, who had a surname Gucci. And he was approached by his old man, so the story went. Dad wanted to know what the kid was going to do with his life, and the boy said, Dad, I want to go into clothing. And the father said, look, unfortunately, son, here in Italy, everyone's in clothing, you won't be able to compete. The boy's response was, yeah, I know that, Dad, but what I want to do is I want to get the best fabrics, I want to get the best designers and the best makers, I want to produce a fantastic garment that people will want to buy. And the dad was surprised the kid had given it that much thought, but he said, son, if you're going to use the best of everything, you're going to have to charge a top price. People won't be able to afford your gear. And the boy's response was certainly the message the young 21-year-old got that morning. The boy said to his dad, Dad, long after the price is forgotten, the quality remains.